Hello and welcome back to Mass Effect. Let's continue talking to our crew after having finished Trebin. I also checked, and there was on Trebin another place where you could hear some of the ambient sounds, which is fairly unique, but I already showcased that last time, so I don't think I need to do that again. So instead, let's, first talk to some of the people. I'm thinking that I should not just talk to everyone, because their stories kind of tend to blend in when we talk to too many of them at once, so let's just do some at a time. Also, oh man, Garrus is actually repairing our Mako, which is very nice because it doesn't use any Omnigel somehow. And also, we get a new Mako for every mission, apparently. But anyway.
Commander, good to see you.
Yes.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
Ominous?
I'll bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Saleon geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
This is getting more and more ominous.
What happened? Why were you investigating them?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
Okay, that is disturbing.
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the psychos. I remember this one L-Corps diplomat we caught in my first year on the job. He was hacking people up and selling their organs. Had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
L-Corps diplomat. Okay.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Saleon, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Salarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
Full set, you say.
What did you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
Interviewing, you say? You mean interrogating? But, well, we're going all, renegade for him, so...
Good thinking. Blackies are always easier to scare.
Exactly. Though in this case it paid off in a different way. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Saleon's employees. They were test tubes, walking, living test tubes.
Okay, that is disturbing.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies, then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. He just used them to make more organs. But they wouldn't listen.
Now, this is an interesting choice. The renegade option is this. I realized that, in fact, for Dalton, he is indeed, like a true vigilante, more interested in justice and not so much protecting the innocent, I don't think. Because remember how he blew up the dam in Serenaya and shot Hawkins? So this is an interesting thing that you get when you think how the vigilantes do. It's more important to actually bring Dr. Saleon to justice than it is to protect the hostages. And, of course, John agrees, so...
No wonder you hated it there. Those idiots just let him fly away.
Yes, they did. I went to Palin and told him what I thought of him and his policies. He said if I didn't like it, I could quit. Well, I almost did. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
A few casualties is a small price to pay to stop someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those hostages might be wishing they'd died by now anyway. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Saleon?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
Well, looks like we are the person for the job.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Saleon, I want to be there when you find him.
Nice. We got a new quest just by talking to our crew. Yaris, find Dr. Saleon. Yes, but where would that be? Herschel system in the Kepler Verge. Okay, we're not there at the moment, so that's fine. And let's talk to Ashley.
Oh, before I go, you said you're serving with Commander Shepard now? We saw him on the news here. He's cute. Later, sis.
Tell me you didn't hear that.
Afraid I did.
Oh, shoot me now. One of my sisters. That's Sarah, the youngest. Surprised to see you here, sir. Thought you'd be chatting up, what's her name? Tassoni?
Liara, why would you think that?
Scuttlebutt says you got a bit of a thing for her. I could understand why. The crew's off limits with the regs against fraternization. And at least she looks like a woman.
Now, actually, this ship is no longer just an Alliance ship. It's a private ship for a Spectre, so I'm not sure the regulations really apply.
You think I'm interested in Liara because she's the only one I'm allowed to date?
So you are interested in her? Of course, it could be politics. Alien diplomat's daughter, us under orders to make nice with the bug-eyed monsters. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
Where did you grow up?
All over. Same as you, I expect. We transferred a half a dozen times before I finished grade school. You go where personnel command sends you, right? I guess that's why I'm so tight with my sisters. We'd have to leave all our friends every 2 or 3 years.
You have more than one sister? Sounds like a big family.
Yeah, I'm the oldest, then Abby, then Lynn. Sarah's the youngest. She's still in high school. With 4 girls, Dad used to say he felt more outnumbered at home than on maneuvers.
Did your father serve with the fleet?
Yeah, took any crap posting he could get that offered space time. You know what? He worked his ass off trying to get recognized, but he never made it above serviceman 3rd class. He was real proud when I met Chief. First thing he did was salute.
What about your mother? You haven't mentioned her.
You must know what military wives are like. Strong because they have to be, able to raise kids while Dad's away on a 6-month cruise. She has a degree in planetary geology. She and Dad both wanted to see new worlds. She gave up her career to raise us, though.
Star Trek. But yes, our background is very similar, so it does sound familiar.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen LY away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
Chernobog? Huh.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol practice, but didn't like it. She's kind of nervous. Sarah took Aikido. Abby decided to learn the sword. She always was a little weird. Likes big skirts and tops you have to tie her into. They do great things to her figure, though.
So, what did you learn?
One of Dad's friends taught me Marine hand to hand.
But what about the other option?
You said all of your sisters learned self-defense?
Lynn did pistol. They do great things to her figure, though.
That's a bit weird. But okay.
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. all times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff. Just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though. So behave.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
Now, normally, I choose this option, but in this case, let's choose that option.
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. Says so in the Alliance Charter. Only with fancier words.
I'm glad you're open-minded about it. I've met a few people who are really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
Well, how can you look at the galaxy and believe in something? Well, I suppose the Geth believe in the Reapers as some sort of gods, but that's not a god you would like to worship, I don't think. But yes, well, that's all for now.
We'll talk later, Williams.
Looking forward to it, Skipper.
If you ask for the opinion on the last mission, you just get a repeat of the last time that we spoke to Ashley, so nothing interesting there. Alright, so once it stops loading, let's get back to exploring space. Alright, we did everything in Treven. There are no other survey spots. And now we have Farinata and Dis. Let's go to Dis. In FTL. So all of the star systems and I think planets are named after all kinds of things in Dante's Inferno and Dante's Divine Comedy, which is also an inspiration for Doom, so a lot of things kind of match in Doom and here. But Jartar. Jartar is a terrestrial world with a trace atmosphere of Krypton and Xenon. The surface is hot and mainly composed of unremarkable silicates. Occasional deposits of aluminum, magnesium, and other light metals can be found. Jartar is noted for the discovery of the Leviathan of Dis, the apparent corpse of a genetically engineered living starship. The Leviathan was found in the bottom of a crater by a Batarian survey team, and estimated to be nearly 1 billion years old. It disappeared after a visit to the system by a Batarian dreadnought 20 years ago. Since then, the Batarians have steadfastly denied that the Leviathan existed at all, and all the more vociferously when shown recordings of the corpse made by Saleon researchers. No atmosphere? Well, let's say trace atmosphere, but pretty much no. Yeah. Fairly warm. Low gravity, so it's, yeah. This will, by the way, the Leviathan of Dis, this will be important, very important later on, so remember this. Nearum. Nearum is a terrestrial world with a thin atmosphere of methane and argon. Its frozen surface is mainly composed of basaltic rock. Its most prominent feature is the Elos Rift Valley, a long volcanic divergence zone that stretches across half of the northern hemisphere. 58 Celsius. Why is the surface frozen? And if it has a thin atmosphere, which it is, I suppose, then it would get cold during the night, but hot during the day. Light metal surveyed. While scanning this planet, you detected a large deposit of titanium on a nearby moon. Cool. Next, Klenzal. Klenzal has a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and ethane. Its first geological surveys were performed by Batarians and suggested areas of great mineral wealth. Human mining concerns spent billions of credits hustling to the distant system and sinking test bores to claim the system for humanity. But Klenzal had only an average level of mineral wealth, valuable but hardly worth the Russian expense. Merida Industria, a small Mexican company hoping to strike it rich in their first extrasolar mining venture, had to file for bankruptcy protection. Investigation revealed the Batarian crew had deliberately falsified their surveys, hoping it would encourage human rivals to invest in a costly boondoggle. While unethical, this was not technically illegal, and the Batarian government disavowed the personal actions of a few misguided patriots. The planet is still littered with abandoned mining bases, which are often used as temporary meeting places for criminals. Alright. Long period. Long day length. Not much of an atmosphere. Cold. Okay, gravity. Yeah. So this is in the place where space is contested between humans and Batarians. Metallic asteroid. So that's why we get lots of information about Batarians. We still haven't seen any. A mineral-rich asteroid, 94 kilometers. Lithium. Alright. I guess that counts as metallic. Yeah. So like I said about the geography of the galaxy, this general place is the Atacon Traverse. Gremar. Oh. Gremar is an icy terrestrial with a thin atmosphere of carbon dioxide and krypton. Its surface is mainly composed of frozen ammonia, with deposits of tin and other light metals. When exposed to sunlight, Gremar's ammonia can melt, forming equatorial seas of the toxic chemical. This has allowed a profusion of simple fungus and lichens to evolve in the low-energy environment. A byproduct of their metabolism causes them to glow very faintly. While the light of an individual is insignificant, large patches seem to reinforce the light of one another, and are visible from space. Wow, yeah, that looks nice. And it's just lichens and not all kinds of cities. Okay, fairly long orbital period, long day length, low atmosphere, cold. Fairly low sunlight too, because it's far away, yeah. Okay, and Raisha. Raisha is a starved hydrogen-helium gas giant with the traces of sodium and ammonia in its atmosphere. During the brief gold rush to Klenzal, a few companies established an infrastructure for helium-3 skimming and deuterium mining on Raisha's icy moons. When Klenzal proved to be less wealthy than expected, the facilities were stripped for parts and abandoned. Well, mysterious. Turian insignia recovered. Scans of the planet Raisha revealed an old unmanned shuttle. The Your salvage team found Turian goods on board, all marked with the Trident colony insignia. Alright. Well, we have the next goal. And did not get a new level. But, well, we have a bit of time, so let's at least land on Cleansel. Also, I'm surprised that the planet with ammonium seas did not give some ideas for the Volot, because they could totally live there. Unless it's too cold or something. Ooh, snow, nice. Yeah, this is quite frozen. Alright, so where are we heading here? Syndicate hideout. Anomaly. Another anomaly. What crashed escape pod? Okay. That's weird, so this anomaly has a very large reach, and this doesn't. And debris. Yeah, so this is one of those places for which we got coordinates from Helena Blake. So there are bad guys here. Good to know. And since they're bad guys, we want to take them out. Also, this seems to be very gently sloping as well. Once again, I'm a bit afraid of pressure mods in that case. There's not a whole lot of snow going on right now. Oh, look at that. There's an ore deposit right next to the Syndicate hideout entrance. Convenient. Oh, also there are enemies around it. Huh. It doesn't matter a whole lot. Although first, I think we'll get the ore. Yikes, careful. Huh. This is weird terrain. Yeah. It's very uneven. Oh, yes, here we go. Platinum deposit.
Redeploying.
The enemies don't see us, so that's fine. Oops. Yes. Platinum deposit. Getting money. Slowly but surely. Looks like this is all the way down. What are they doing? Nice. Got a grenade too. Oh, there's still someone down there. Not seeing anyone though. And this looks like a mine more than anything. Oh, it's too closer. Ah.
It's over now.
Sniper. Alright, well this looks like a fortified entrance. So let's stop here for now. Also read a codex entry or two. Aliens, Council Races. Turian Biology. The Turian homeworld, Palavan, has a metal-poor core, generating a weak magnetic field and allowing more solar radiation into the atmosphere. To deal with this, most forms of life on Palavan evolved some form of metallic exoskeleton to protect themselves. Their reflective, plate-like skin makes Turians less susceptible to long-term low-level radiation exposure, but they do not possess any sort of natural armor. A Turian's thick skin does not stop projectiles and directed energy bolts. Although life on Palaven is carbon-based and oxygen-breathing, it is built on dextro amino acids. This places the Turians in a distinct minority on the galactic stage. The Quarians are the only other known sapient dextroprotein race. The food of humans, Asari or Salarians, who evolved in levo-amino acid-based biospheres, will at best pass through Turian systems without providing any nutrition. At worst, it will trigger an allergic reaction that can be fatal if not immediately treated. Yes, this is interesting in its true chemistry. They're levo and dextro amino acids, and we are levo amino acid based, though we don't know of anything that would be dextro amino acid based. And sure, the humanity. Genetic engineering. In the 22nd century, manipulation of the human genome became commonplace. Techniques of genetic engineering advanced to the point where the rich could custom-build fetuses that grew into stronger, smarter, and more attractive adults. In more permissive regions, custom-designed life forms and uplifted animals occupied an ill-defined niche between property and sapient being. Travel to planets with unique forms of life brought an awareness that Earth's unique biodiversity could be lost if spliced and hybridized to gain useful alien qualities. The Sodom-Walcott Genetic Heritage Act was passed by the Systems Alliance Parliament in 2161. It imposed sharp restrictions on controversial uses of genetic engineering, but provided government subsidies for beneficial applications. Screening and therapy. Most governments provide free assessments and corrective therapy for genetic diseases in prospective parents. This has nearly eliminated everything from cystic fibrosis to nearsightedness. The earlier screening and therapy is performed, the more comprehensive the results. Though ideally performed on artificially fertilized zygotes in a lab, procedures are available for embryos in the womb and newborns, out of respect for personal beliefs. Enhancement. Improvement of natural human abilities is legal, but adding new abilities is not. Treatments to improve strength, reflexes, mental acuity, or appearance are permitted. Adding a tail or the ability to digest cellulose is not. Some genetic enhancement is provided for free to Alliance military recruits, but the average citizen must pay for the privilege. The process can take years to reach fruition in an adult. Engineering. Artificial hybridization of genes from compatible non-human species with human genetic code is illegal. Creation of designed life is broadly legal, and mainly used for terraforming and medical applications, but sentient creatures are heavily regulated, and creation of sapient life is outlawed by both the Systems Alliance and the Citadel Council. Okay. So you can make designed life. Okay. Interesting. So that will be all for now, and I will see you all next time when we take on the Syndicate base here. So see you all then. Later.